Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before let me introduce myself. My name is ELMA SALASIWA. My name 2403010004. Next, what we'll discuss is the three pillars of Islam, namely fasting. Fasting is also called refraining from eating and drinking, restraining a just usually extension. And words this well as extension that are forbidden by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. This also includes in centering concrete object and a body covets such as taking medication and the like. As for the fasting of Ramadan, it means fasting that is done 30 days in the holy month of Ramadan. This fast is mandatory fast for Muslims who have reached puberty, are sane, and are not in a stage of menstruation. Okay, next, types of fasting. If viewed from the perspective of Islam, there are three types of fasting are usually done, namely 1. Obligatory fasting. Obligatory fasting is a fast that must be done by every Muslim and must not be obedient with a clear reason. If it must be obedient, then it is obligatory to replenish in on another day. Included in this obligatory fast are Ramadan fasting, Qadha fasting, Nazar fasting, and Kalarar fasting. Okay, next, 2. Sunnah fasting. Sunnah fasting is fasting that is done to get additional rewards from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Meanwhile, if you leave it is not a sin. For example, fasting 6 days in the month of Shawwal, fasting on Arafah, fasting on Mondays and Thursday, fasting on Ayamul Bid, and so on. 3. Fasting is haram. Haram fasting means fasting that cannot be done on certain days. For example, fasting on the 2 holidays of Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Fasting on Tashriq days 11, 12, and 30 of Zulhijjah. The reason for fasting is maintained that fasting during Ramadan is included in the obligatory fasting. This means if it is done, it will get a reward, and if it is late, it will be sinful and must be a repledge or qadha. The provisions and arguments that require fasting in the month of Ramadan are as staged in the word of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Surah Al-Baqarah. Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu kutiba alaikumus siyamu kama kutiba alal ladzina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. It means, oh, you will believe, fasting is enjoined upon you as it was enjoined upon you before you, so much you may attain a pity. Mandatory requirements for fasting. Before fasting, a person must fulfill the mandatory fasting requirements. These mandatory conditions are as follows. 1. Muslim. According to Islamic law, fasting is only obligatory for Muslim, while non-Muslim are not obligated to fast. Okay, next, 3. Strong and able to fast. People who are sick and unable to fast are allowed to break the fast. However, it's a mandatory for him to replace or qadha his fast on other days outside the month of Ramadan. For sensible, crazy people, people who have lost their minds due to raining or being drunk, are not required to fast during Ramadan. Okay, next, condition for valid fasting. Apart from the mandatory requirements, there are also valid requirements for fasting, which must be fulfilled, and not then that fast will be considered invalid or invalid. Are not Muslim do not account to fasting until they first embrace Islam. 2. Muwayyiz. Muwayyiz is a period of approximately 7 years or when someone can distinguish between good and bad extension. 3. Pure from menstruation and postpartum discharge. It is not permissible for a woman to fast while she is menstruating or in the postpartum period. 4. Are times when fasting is permitted. It's not permissible to fast at times prohibited by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Okay, thank you so much for listening to the video. Apologies if there are any words errors. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.